Well, Doug and Shelley, when our team was down at the southern border, our cameras were rolling when a group of migrants presented themselves at the Antelope Wells Border Patrol station.
If you want to find out about the border, ask a Border Patrol agent who's there, maybe not 24/7, but is there for more hours than anybody else. Those are the experts.
It's a uniform that represents honor and pride.
From being a law enforcement officer to being a rescuer to being, the comforter to being a babysitter. I mean, there's so many things that we do.
Border Patrol agents in New Mexico's Boot Hills spend their morning monitoring barbed wire fences and driving up and down remote stretches of the county.
Every time a person enters the United States illegally, a crime has been committed.
This fence built by ranchers is the only thing that separates Mexico and the United States. And Border Patrol agents say that this barrier is not enough.
It's a combination of technology, it's a combination of infrastructure, it's a combination of personnel, that we need in order to be better at what we do.
When the sun begins to set, Border Patrol crews transition out. The agents then set up cameras to monitor groups trying to cross the border.
It's different nowadays. Now you're dealing with families. You're dealing with kids, you're dealing with babies, you're dealing with, non-Mexican nationals.
Dogs barking is usually a sign that a group of migrants is close. The night that we were at Border Patrol, 2 families presented themselves to agents, both from Guatemala. One of the families arrived with just a blanket in below freezing weather.
She's 1 and she's 9 years old.
Border Patrol agents escorted the families into a facility to do medical screenings, checking each person's vitals. I asked one of the moms why she chose to take this treacherous journey to the United States, risking the lives of her children.
Well, for the same reason, we had death threats, so it's a danger for them there too. So we opted to come in the name of God.
Once the migrants leave this port of entry, they're then taken to the Border Patrol station in Lordsburg, which is about an hour and 30 minutes away. From there, it can take hours, even days, before they get moved to an ICE facility in El Paso.
Our job is multifaceted. We catch kidnappers. We catch runaways, we seize narcotics, we seize drugs, wanted individuals, stolen vehicles at all of these checkpoints. It's not just immigration.
However, not everyone agrees with the work Border Patrol does.
This unprecedented amount of power has led for some Border Patrol officials to actually treat families, particularly individuals, even U.S. citizens, in ways that are not, in my belief, good.
Doña Ana County Representative Angelica Rubio doesn't want more militarization at the border. She also doesn't think CBP needs more funding.
What we should be talking about instead is how do we hold this agency accountable? How do we shed some transparency on this agency so that we can actually be really talking about investing in our border.
Both Rubio and Border Patrol agents agree that we need to invest in border security. But how exactly we do that depends on who you talk to.
They want to criticize us, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. As long as, in my heart, I go home at the end of the day and I can say that I did my job, then I'm happy.
Reporting from the border, Marissa Armas, KOAT Action 7 News.
So the agents are saying the wall is needed, but not the only solution to the problem.
Of course, not the only solution. I mean, they do want a wall, they want some barrier in place, but they also want infrastructure. I mean, what's the point of having a wall if you don't have the people to monitor that? And that's kind of where they're going, where they say personnel, infrastructure, and even technology.
Yeah, the people on the front lines, most of them seem to want it. A lot of people who live there, you've talked to a lot of the ranchers right there on the border, they seem to want it as well. Right. So it's not very divided down there, but it's through the rest of the country to force the state.
Exactly, and something that even Border Patrol agents said that, lawmakers are wanting to make laws about how we secure our border, but many of them haven't even been to the border. And so they keep saying we need to get these lawmakers, both Republican and Democrat, out to these border areas so they could see it firsthand. Because once you're out there, again, it's a different experience.
Story, Makes a lot of sense. Marissa, thank you. And if you know someone working to bring the two sides together on this issue, be sure to leave it on Marissa's Facebook page.